Welcome to day 3 of our week of Webisodes, and today we have 2 new embossing folders. And you know how I feel about embossing folders. There's just a lot you can do, and we're here to show you.
Definitely, with 2 beautiful new ones, a music focal and a wood texture. That's kind of an overall background one.
And wait till you see what the design team has done.
Come play with us.
Well, here they are, as you said.
Music focal and wood texture, and with those great silk screen looks on the top of our embossing folders, you can see what they are right away.
Right, when you're going through your stash, you can figure out what you have.
These measure 4 1/8 by 5 7/8, so it's a nice good size, and that's a great big beautiful focal. Something like this you can use in pieces too.
Right.
And we'll show you that.
And we're going to start with the music focal, and because it's hot off the press, you are going to get a project idea on the back, a list of materials, any little hints and tips.
Right. Hey, we're going to show you that one.
Yeah, and here it is, live and in person.
Ta-da!
Now, this is really pretty. So black cardstock has been embossed, but then to get this red, kind of glittery, shiny, pretty stuff going on.
Then we used the mica powder, and this one is kimono red mica powder, and it's just dusted on the top of that. I'm going to show you how Lene did that. So here is the piece that has been embossed on black cardstock, so you can sort of see it, but we're really going to make it pop in a minute here. And you can attach the mica powders with Versamark, but we also have a Versamarker, which makes it easier to control where the Versamark solution is going. I kind of like that because this is a large area on here, very simple to just start coloring in with your Versamarker. So you just want to get it on the raised areas of that, and I'm laying it on its side, so it will do that pretty quickly and easily, just getting the raised portions of that embossed piece. I'm going to do it just a small piece at a time so that you can see that, and then I'm using a small brush to just tap that on there, and you can just sort of brush it away. It doesn't really take very much. Mica powders go a long way because they're so, well, let's see. Well, they just go a long way. They're so concentrated. Right, they're concentrated. It's just a powder, and you can just sort of very quickly get the look you want. Well, I'm going to let it get on the background too, because Lene said it's very simple to just, once it's on there, take a paper towel and just sort of wipe it away from the background. You can also use a larger brush, but it really helps that top area to stand out, and you can work a little bit more on that to get more of it on there. I think I just used just a little bit, but it's really spectacular once it's on that top edge of that embossed piece.
And I'm glad that we've got the mica powders, because the perfect pearls are kind of gone away. So it's nice to have, plus you get just the colors you want. And so that's just stellar. Now, what has also been added to it, so you can see that you've got areas to do your message. So you know us, we're going to take dazzles, and this is out of the everyday greetings. So that hello has been used with the silver foil that has a gold edge.
But also the tiny words and phrases have been used down here at the bottom.
For the happy birthday.
That's great. And I like that little line of silver jewel border dazzles going around the edge. That really frames it nicely. This was done on one of our bulk papers, which we actually have some with musical notes.
Right, so that's what that looks like.
Check the gallery for the name of it and where to find it.
Our normal message is check the gallery, and you can see. Now that gives a beautiful look, but what else can you do? Well, how about this one? It is bright and shiny, and this has been done on the silver ripple holographic. And that's something that you really should know, is that the specialty papers, the holographics, the fireworks, the ripple, as well as the suedes are just stunning when used with embossing folders.
Right, so here's the piece as it's been done. You cannot see it because of the ripple, and that's what we want to make it stand out. It really has been embossed. If I pull, there we go. If I turn it over, you can see that it went through. It definitely.
Not that we doubted you, you know.
It definitely embossed, so it's there. I can feel it. But in order to see that, I've got this stylus here. It's great for inking very quickly. You can use the StazOn directly from the ink pad to it, but I like a little bit more control and than that with the ink, and so I like to use the stylus, get that pretty well inked up, and then just start going around and tapping it onto the surface just to get it on the top of that. You can't see it well enough. I'm going to go ahead and use it direct from the ink pad just so that you can see it. Get that out of my way. And you can hit the top. I'm trying to avoid the background, so when you do this sort of tap it and turn it, that works pretty good. There we go. And that
I like how it really just appears.
Right. And you can do just a little bit, you can add a little bit more, and really that makes it, it's just beautiful. Look at that. I love that.
And it's so stunning with, as you saw, just being embossed. It's, you know, it's hidden within the ripple.
You couldn't see it, and now we're just making it pop and making it stand out. It really is there.
Just that easily. And here it is on the card. Now, Lene added some die cuts. This is Rhapsody, which also has a coordinating paper pack. And so she's added some of the dies that are giving her the message, and that's working nicely. On the inside of her card, another piece of the ripple, not any more of the embossing folder, but adding more of the die cuts, and plenty of room to do your message.
And the inside out greetings dazzles right there on the tag with those die cuts. So what a nice idea.
Now another idea is to do this, and boy, that's really interesting.
Isn't that beautiful? So that was done on the glimmer paper. That's the navy or the blue glimmer paper. And I want to show you a little something about that. Glimmer paper is not very thick. It's more like paper than like cardstock. And I did emboss this, but if you emboss it by itself, it has a tendency to be pushed a little bit too much by the embossing folder. It might crack it a little bit. So when I ran this through, I ran it through with a piece of cardstock inside. And that makes it so it's not pushed quite as much, and it's not going to crack the paper.
That's a good technique with vellum too.
Sure,
same
with
idea.
Vellum, yeah, anything that if you run it through and something cracks, put a piece of cardstock or an extra piece of paper within the fold there to get a nice image. And once you've got that, you've got stickles, very simple silver stickles to just start outlining that big, beautiful musical note. Oh, I didn't test this first. I hope it's gonna, there we go. And you can just sort of start working it around. I'd probably outline it first and then start filling it in.
And you're just doing that giant staff, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Right. So that's how to do that. Just sort of move the stickles around as you're working to make sure you're covering all the blue.
Now you could also do that same look if you had glitter embossing powder, I bet.
Absolutely, glitter embossing powder, or if you had a glue pad and glitter, like our silk microspine glitters would work great with that too, but that's just kind of fun.
It is just a very fun look. So you've seen 3 examples of this embossing folder. Now, these are nowhere near all of the techniques you can do, but just having fun with mica powder and with the specialty
inking,
holographic, and then with the stickles. Yeah.
So that's fun with the musical notes. And then we're on to our other embossing folder.
On to wood texture. Now, wood texture is going to give you some interesting options. There is one card, and of course we're going to show it to you right now.
Isn't that cute?
And very fun. So letting it go horizontally, which is surprising.
Right, that's great fun. I love backing those dazzles too with that, the mirror sheets, I believe.
Oh yes, that is.
Absolutely beautiful.
And there's the Hello Foxy, or Hey Foxy, Hello Dear.
And more. And there's that wood grain in the background. Very simple to just emboss it on a dark, kind of a dark tan cardstock, and then just swipe the top of it with a dark brown fluid chalk ink pad. So this is direct from the ink pad, just directly on there.
And that works nicely because, as you can see, this embossing folder doesn't have any areas that are not embossed. It's solid, so it's going to hold your ink pad nicely.
Right, well, it's got small areas in between those raised lines.
And I think this is fun to cut a window out of there and do the Hey Foxy and just do the border dazzles at the top.
Pretty
just
cute.
Really, really fun.
Oh, I think this is a circle that was using the circle template.
I couldn't figure out why I had this template. That's where our circles template
that's where it is. Very simple to trace and create a circle really simply with that.
We're so used to cutting dies that sometimes we forget that not everyone has a machine, but this will let you do a circle from 2 inches up to 11.5 inches.
Great, so that's a great alternative to cutting dies if you need to, and they're great. You can use them over and over and over. And I like that. So focus on the fox. That's really cute.
Notice the butterfly is on his nose. So
very sweet.
Very cute right there. Just absolutely charming. Now, so this was our wood grain horizontally. Here it is going vertically. And how charming.
Isn't that great?
I didn't realize that this embossing folder does so well with our dazzles.
Right.
So, Nuts About Squirrels is the one that's included.
Nuts About You, and there's that large tree. And so that is a unique look.
And this is on the center step card, and as we said, this is the design, one of the design team's favorites.
So I want to talk about the gloss finish that you're seeing on there. Debbie used glossy cardstock, which is no longer available. We don't carry the glossy cardstock. So if you want to get the gloss on top of that, that's very simple to do with the clear gloss Superfine Wow embossing powder. Versamark on top of it. When you're all done with the inking, with the coloring, which I'm going to show you, then you can just swipe it with the Versamark pad and put a little of that on there. Heat it.
If you want the shine.
Right.
Yeah.
And I like the shine. I think it's kind of nice, but it works well without it too. And what I've used is the silky papers. So here's a piece of the silky papers cut to fit the embossing folder, and then I took the brown Spectrum Noir set and lots of different colors in there. Just pick a few out and just scribble all over. It doesn't matter.
That's the browns you said.
Those are the browns, and I used some of those different colors. You can see I've scribbled in different areas. Doesn't matter kind of where, just mix and match wherever, because once you run that through your embossing folder, then it just sort of mixes together with that. I'm going to put down a, let's see, I'm going to put down a sheet. I've got a Tim Holtz ink blender here, and I've got dark brown fluid chalk ink, which is really juicy, and I've touched it. Now it's all over me. It's a brand new one. That's okay. And so I'm going to get this inked up.
You know what? I think we'll bring a craft sheet in here.
I was looking for one, and I couldn't. I didn't have access.
I saw that.
That's all right.
Let's do this.
So there we go. This is inked up nicely, and then I'm just going to lightly start on the top of it. Just kind of swipe, and because, like we said, because those embossed areas are fairly close together, this should nicely stay on the top of your piece.
And it's just giving more definition so that you're kind of seeing through to that modeling that you've done.
And so there's that bark wood grain on top. And that's nice just like that. So that makes a really nice look. And like I said, at this point, if you'd like to swipe it with Versamark and then use some of the clear gloss embossing powder, that will be beautiful as well.
And I didn't really focus on this. This is the Trailblazer papers, but you can see the little squirrel in collection. I'm Nuts About You. You Make Life Fun is what was computer journaled on the inside, so very cute. Now we have another look. This is again using it vertically, but creating a fence post.
Isn't that great?
And, yeah, very, very fun. And this is using the little bird stamp, and spread your wings is the message.
So this isn't just one piece that has been left unaltered. It was cut into strips. After it was embossed, then the top of it was swiped with a dark brown ink pad, and then it's cut into strips, which it looks like I cut it the wrong direction.
I was going to mention that.
So make sure that you don't cut it this way. You want to cut them this way, so you got those long. That's a really good point. And then you just cut the tops into little triangle pieces. I'm just going to do one of them really simply. You just cut the top, so now you've got a pointed fence post. And then when Lene set them down, she foam taped every other one. Right. So these are about 3/4 of an inch apart, and then this one is foam taped above, so it gets that 3D look. Really cute.
So you can see the picket fence, and like this one is raised, this one is foam taped. So every other one has been foam taped. And
I love the twine is sort of hanging around there. It's looped around that one fence post. Spread your wings. This is a really nice
That's the jute twine. So, and then also added some flowers to just let that be. There's also a butterfly in here, so that could be
beautiful. Really
cute. And then on the inside, so spread your wings is the message on the stamp, and fly is what was computer journaled, and this has the suede paper, and I'm hoping
the mocha suede. I didn't even catch that.
Yeah,
there's a mocha suede. It also has been embossed. It makes a nice little added texture piece, and you can see that more in person than you can see on camera.
It's really pretty. So just more of the specialty papers that are so much fun with the embossing folders. So while it is only 2 embossing folders, you've got lots of techniques,
different looks and techniques. Wonderful. And we'll see you tomorrow.